Okay, good evening, everyone. We are at the Economic Development Commission meeting for Wednesday, April 17th. And hey there, Mark. And in attendance is Inga Hoteling.
Greg Diley.
Greg Samuels. Mark
Gene
Fulco.
Cuby.
Mark Fulco.
Gene Cuby.
Serena Fuller.
Okay, and if we have any guests coming in on Zoom, we will let you in. Okay, Jack is coming in. Excellent. So, couple little housekeeping items before we get into our agenda. I just want to say that I know the meeting minutes went out a little late for this meeting. I do personally apologize for that. I've had a loss in my immediate family, and it's definitely been a little stressful to navigate through that. But as of tonight, what I'm going to start doing is, after the meeting ends, Julie and I are going to talk about what agenda items we want to roll over to the next meeting. And going forward, we will have the minutes of the meetings posted a week in advance. So I want to make that point clear. This evening's meeting, I hope we don't need the full 2 hours. A lot of it is just more of a recap of where we are with our website and our QR codes. So before I open up the actual meeting agenda, are there any public comments on Zoom? Okay, so there isn't. So, old business, website update. I am very pleased to announce, as of 2 weeks ago, when we had Martin in here as our guest speaker, he and I spoke today, and he sent me about approximately an hour ago the QR codes for the dining section of the signage for the 338. And I also am going to ask you folks tonight. So yeah, I guess we are going to need that quorum. I would like to have to see if people would approve it. I'd like to create a small lawn sign, probably the size of what we see for the different campaigns. So that size, so it's like an 18 by 20-inch sign. That is going to be green on the background, white lettering saying Dine Southwick with the QR code. And that's all it's going to have on it. So that for any events that the town is sponsoring, such as the one that's coming up on April 26th, which is the art show, we can have them positioned going into the building, going out of the building. It's going to cost probably $20 at the most. But it is going to be simple and effective instead of having to produce massive amount of handouts with the dining guide. It's going to be a quick scan and you have the data.
Could be right where they walk in. so
Right where they
be able
walk
to
in.
Be there with their
And
camera.
there'll be 2 points of entrance. There's going to be the front of the building and the back of the building. But I want to produce 6 of them so that we can also utilize them at other events that the town could be hosting, so that we can just continually reuse them, and that QR code will be updated as we update the restaurants as well.
I'll move that we do it. I move that we produce 6 signs with Dine Southwick and the QR code used for town events.
Okay, roll call vote.
Greg Diley, yes.
Greg Samuelson, yes. Mark Fulco, yes.
Gene Cuby, yes.
Serena Fuller, yes.
And Inga Hoteling, yes.
And Jack Conde, yes.
Oh, hey there, Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Jack. Okay, so I will get those starting to be produced tomorrow. I am, as of this week, going to be working from home on Fridays. And that's when I'm going to be doing town business as well. So this Friday, I will be going down to Spotlight Graphics and we'll get the QR code over to Ally. And we will get those signs produced, and those will probably be done sometime next week. And then myself and Ally and Mr. Johnson will be putting those up at the 338 track. So this is exciting. Any comments on that from the team?
Congratulations.
Good work.
Yeah.
Good work. Yeah.
Good
Bravo.
Okay, so it's a start. I'm just thrilled that we're getting to the point to where the QR code was tested today, and obviously it's worked well. The website itself will probably be able to be launched within the next week and a half at the most. Greg and I are going to see Martin on Friday and test, well, he'll be testing it before then, but the survey piece. So, it's finally coming to fruition, so all's good in the hood. So, the discussion on Facebook, because Pam is not here and Amber's not here, we're going to roll that over to the next meeting. So that can be an agenda item already for that meeting. What we were going to be doing with that, Mark, just to get you up to speed, is I have asked a member in the community who has done other work with me for the past 3 years with different coalitions I've been on here in Southwick, to create a Facebook page. We've gotten approval from the select board. So it's our logo, it's really crisp and clean. And what we wanted to do is see what other towns are doing for theirs. This is a picture of what it looks like.
Oh, nice.
And what I've discovered by doing a little bit of research this past week is the communities that are utilizing the Facebook are mostly in Connecticut. I haven't found any within our local area. And it's to talk about any kind of grant money that the town has and letting the community know that, hey, we've got money available. This is where we could also put information that we are going to be getting from the Mass Council of the Economic Development Commission in regards to other grants or programs. I saw in one of them where employers were mentioning what they have for opportunities for employment. This would be strictly information only, no dialogue
No
back and
dialogue.
forth. Right, so it would just be for information. So, our next meeting, hopefully we'll all be here and then we can just determine what all we want to utilize this for as just another vein of getting out information. So this brings us to our website and mailing update. This is where, Greg is gonna have to, now that we're gonna have a pretty much a defined date as to when we're gonna be able to get out the mailer for the business survey. I would feel confident, based on what Martin said today, that we should be able to have that mailing out for the last week in April. So, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Greg, to discuss and look at what would probably be good dates for us to look at for a drop-off date to put in the mailing as to when we need it back by
Right, the due date.
and when we're going to actually collate them all.
At the end of April, I'd probably make it the end of May. Give it time to get out there, give it time for people to respond, but not so far out that they say, oh, I've got a lot of time, I don't need to do it. We want a certain amount of urgency in it, so I would probably just make it, May 31st.
Okay,
It's
for the
date of
deadline.
the mailing. And then we would try to mail it, you know, certainly before the end of the first week in May. We'd be committing to that. And we also want to have everybody look at the list and tell us which ones you would personally deliver, because we'll save the postage. We'll also get more attention in those, and particularly those where you know the business owners or their neighbor, your business, or whatever you're willing. And I would ideally like to hand deliver most of the center town college highway businesses.
Right, because they don't have
We could get
boxes.
some
yeah.
teams, walk door to door. Cause I have the physical addresses, in some cases I have the box numbers, but I'm not sure about some of the box numbers, whether the physical address gets mailed or not.
Right,
But it should be easy to deliver because they're close together. You go through the Gristmill Plaza, et cetera, pretty quickly. And then you just emphasize, please do this as soon as possible. It's a big benefit. It gets your business in front of people. We're gonna promote this year round. You get your website out there. If you have a website, you get your address. They can look it up on their phone and get your hours and get your phone number. So we can really personally sell it as well and make sure we get all of those businesses in there, and we'll have a lower postage bill.
right. And the postage we're gonna have run here through the town,
Yeah, we'll run through the meter.
Right.
Jack checked into that already. It saves 3 cents a letter.
right? So the first thing that we're gonna have to do then, Greg, would be to update that letter with the deadline date.
2 minutes.
Okay, so we can get that done. Once you've got that done, what we need to look at is, because I don't wanna take a meeting to do this, would be to stuff the envelopes.
I
So-
can do that.
We're talking 470 envelopes.
Oh, I can help.
Although,
Yeah. So
should we stuff them for people we hand deliver?
I think it'd look nice.
Yeah.
And then we'll have in that also the dining information, or the letter that I composed for the restaurants and the dining establishments here in town for what we're doing for the 338 for the whole season.
So all
So
of the restaurants will hand deliver.
we're gonna
for sure.
hand deliver for sure. Yep,
And yeah, we can. If everybody could take a look, I'll send the list out again. And everybody take a look and maybe tell me which ones you can hand deliver. Or which section, and then maybe we should talk about who would want to participate in the team to walk College Highway and hand deliver for those that aren't volunteered.
well, we can definitely hit the plazas. The main drag. And I think that would be probably sufficient unless we know businesses that are down in the industrial park area. So the no-brainers would be our plazas,
Yeah, I'm not worried about going outside of College Highway,
right?
but there's a lot of things between, when you say plazas, a lot of things between them too, that
Mm-hmm,
are close,
yep.
so.
So College Highway, which would include the plazas, the little
Yep.
plaza where Pam has her little cafe now.
Yeah,
She could probably hit
We're-
that little
we're gonna
group there
hit
too.
that because it's a restaurant.
Yep, exactly. And the same thing on the other side with the lakes. So what I'd like to be able to do today is talk about when we feel we all would be willing to have a little stuffing gathering. And to see what is best for people. I think with all of us, if we do like an assembly line, because the envelopes are already stamped with the urgent sticker. You're gonna have the letters. We can fold, get a pretty much good idea as to the businesses that we're gonna hit off of College Highway. Then we
Yeah,
need
the
to,
process is not gonna be that hard. You'll
No.
have these printed out
Yep.
flat like this. And have designed it so you can pull the bottom up to the bottom of this box. Then you fold the top back, and then you put it in with the address facing out and just check to see that it shows.
yep, well, we just need to do 470 of them.
And then you strip off the
Yep,
seal and seal it.
so,
I mean, if you can do potentially 3 of these a minute. 2
without
minutes,
talking,
2 a minute.
so would people be willing, would you all be willing to spend a couple of hours on, say, a Saturday or a Sunday to meet here. We could do it here at the town hall. I've got a key to get in. And I can get it approved ahead of time, so we could meet here, which is a good central location, and just have an assembly line and just crank out the envelopes.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do 3 a minute, that's, 180 an hour per person.
Mhm.
So if you could conceivably do all of them in an hour. Not, it's not gonna be a half day affair.
And this is a one-time shot. Once we do this, this is gonna start establishing our website and start getting us that flow that we're looking for what we can contribute into the community. We won't have to ever stuff these envelopes again.
Yeah,
So
we're
what's-
requesting their email address so that
Right.
future communication.
And they're mailing that back?
No,
No.
they're going right onto our
Oh,
website.
okay, all right, that's the big thing.
They're
Okay.
going right
Right.
onto the
That's why we
website.
had to wait till
Right,
when the website was up and it was ready to go live. But they just, all they have to remember is shopsouthwick.com. Shopsouthwick.com pops up immediately is click here to
Click
sign
here,
up for
right.
your free listing. They click on that. There's a form they fill out. It might take them 5 minutes
okay,
at the most. So we're not asking a lot.
I'm sorry, that was a dumb question. I was
No, it
here at the
wasn't.
last meeting.
No, it wasn't. Not a dumb question at all, Serena.
So when that listing shows up, you're going to create those listings or is it going
I'm
to be
gonna-
a website?
I am going to review each one that comes in and make sure it looks right. And we said in the survey, we reserve the right to correct for clarity, et cetera. In some cases, I can just, because I'll get them delivered to a spreadsheet automatically. So I can just copy and paste it in. I don't have to retype anything. So there's not gonna be typos. But if I see a description that, needs a little tweaking, I'll do that.
So will this just be a list of names or will it point into a website on our website? What does it do?
It creates a listing that includes the name of their business, the Southwick address, their phone number, their website if they have one, a description they write up. We say in just a couple of sentences, tell us what your business does. So that it explains what their business is. And then their hours.
But will it point them to a website? I mean, can you navigate from that list to their website?
No, you go to shopsouthwick.com to navigate to that listing. Then if they have a website, yeah, if they're on their phone, they can click on their web address and you go straight there,
Mhm.
or your
That's what I
laptop.
meant, okay.
Yes.
Right, and you can also click on the phone number and it'll dial it.
Right, okay.
So
So that is interactive, that's what.
Yes.
it's interactive, right?
Yep.
The listing will be interactive.
So what about this QR code with respect to the restaurants? Same thing, it'll be a list or will it?
It will
Also
be,
taking the
it'll be a
website.
list that will bring them right to that restaurant.
And take
So if they
them to the
click
website?
on it and then they can see any information that they want about it. So, and the benefit of us now having it being serviced through Southwoods is when we appoint, I know we've got Greg, who's gonna be one of the administrators to the website. I don't know if Pam would be interested or if Mark, you might wanna be interested in that, but
I don't know if you wanna trust my technical competence.
well, that's where we're gonna want people who are, I know for me, I'm not gonna sign up for that. I'll volunteer for anything else, but not that. But we're gonna be able to update when needed. Cause right now I'm waiting to hear back from the owners or the people who are leasing the old, Prime One stake. To get their information. Ken's connected me to Joe, who now is opening up Fusion, which is the old Krabby Joe's. So I'm wanting to get their information to put onto the site. So we're gonna have pretty much control of what is
Right,
going
and
into those
We have
pages.
control not just of the listings, but other tabs.
Other
We can
tabs.
Enter anything we want in terms of events in town, news items, notifications. Plus, we can send out emails for business lists.
Right,
Those who, because we asked for their at the last one is say, could you give us your email address? Not for the listing, we're not gonna publish it or make it public, but we could use it to keep you updated on events or information, probably not more than every month or so.
Mhm.
So we're not gonna blast you with a lot of stuff, and you can opt out at any time. If you don't wanna get emails from us.
So back to the original question, would we be willing, I know I would be willing to on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
Get together for a couple of hours, crank it out and just have it done. And then coordinate from there. Okay, now we got them folded. Let's look at making a plan attack as to when we're going to start walking the town. So looking at our calendars and anticipating that this is going to be happening within the next couple of weeks. Is there a Saturday or Sunday that works for y'all? And I'm gonna say it right now, this is a no judgment zone. So if Jean, for some reason you say, I really don't have the time to do that because I'm doing A, B, and C, that's okay. We only are gonna need a few of us to get together and crank it out. Or you're more than welcome, Julie, to bring your children too.
Okay.
So, you can bring a buddy.
The first weekend in May, I'm away, so that's not good. I don't know if that's what you're thinking.
Well, we're going to want to be getting this done. As soon as we've done the test, and we're probably gonna be doing the test on the business listings, on Friday. Once we know that that's golden,
So at
then,
earliest, it would be the weekend of the 27th and 8th.
right, 27th and 28th.
What does that test look like? How does that work?
I don't know, I've never done one. We're gonna be going to Southwoods. Martin is going to open up our website. And then we'll be sending through a survey, doing like a test of it.
Test, yeah.
Right,
And
you
then-
can click on it and I
Right.
should be able to, and I
Right.
could bring my.
You're gonna have to bring your laptop because we
And-
wanna make sure that Greg's product is gonna be interfacing with
we do it-
Southwood's product.
If we do it through Google Forms, that should not be an issue, because I already tested it. I had Pam let her know that I'm up and ready. I said, go ahead and fill out the survey. And she did, and it popped into my spreadsheet within a minute. It's Google Forms is great, and it's free. So we're able to do these surveys and the forms and the future follow-up surveys we can do. And it goes to an online spreadsheet that I have that has, they actually do compilations of the survey. They'll say how many percent answered this question and this and this. And then you can also get a spreadsheet of every answer in every field. So down there could be a column with all, if we get 300 businesses that respond, there'll be 300 rows, and the responses for the 9 questions or 10 questions will be across the columns. And that's where I'll go in and copy and paste it.
It's the start of creating our beast that we've been talking about since October. And now it's coming to
We gotta give it a
fruition,
name.
the beast.
Yeah,
So,
to know that it's so hard to put this out, you know why it's not out there.
Yeah.
That there's no place to find this information. If you wanna say, well, I wanna find a business in Southwick, it's tough.
yeah.
I
well,
know, cause I had used multiple sources and still didn't get them all.
Even just Googling it, you can't? Like, say I want a restaurant in Southwick,
You can't get a
You say
list of all the restaurants easily.
Restaurants near me.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you can
this
say
is-
that, but
this
it
is
won't
gonna be-
complete information.
This will be
There'll
sweet.
Things missing, but you won't be able to get all of the
Mhm.
businesses in Southwick. In every category, restaurants are easier to find,
Yeah.
but other things are harder to find.
So looking at our calendar for April 27th and 28th, that Saturday and Sunday.
I can't speak to it right now. Weekends are kind of in flux. for me
Okay,
As of this weekend, actually.
okay.
But,
So for the 27th or 28th, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm flexible. I
I'm
don't
pretty
know,
Flexible.
okay,
For 27.
for the 27th. Okay.
I just made a
What's
note
your
for
thoughts,
this.
Mark?
27th would probably be easier for me.
Okay, okay, so 27th
Yeah.
as well. So if we're looking at a Saturday, want to do it first thing in the morning so that it's done, so we
Yes.
have the rest of the day that we can play with our tractors and all that good stuff? Okay, so what appears to be a reasonable time for everyone? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock?
I'm usually up at 5, so
Okay.
whatever you want.
I am too. I think that might be a little too early. What's your thoughts, Mark?
What works for the
Yeah,
group.
me too.
Okay,
I'd say 9.
let's say
Yeah.
9. 9 is fine. Okay, so September 27th, and we can put that in the minutes as well,
Yes.
even though we're gonna not have a meeting by then, but Saturday, September 27th, 9 a.m.
April.
April, did I say March?
She said September.
You said
September,
September, I was late,
September.
I was,
Okay, that was a test. That was a test. Are you all listening? Jack, are you still there?
Yes, I am. I'm writing it down. I didn't bring my calendar with me, so I'm not gonna,
Okay,
if I'm available, I'll be there.
okay, so April 27th, 9 a.m., Town Hall. I will talk to Lisa Anderson tomorrow, see what room she would prefer us to be in. And then I will send out a message to everyone, confirming, what time to be here. Or what room, or what entrance to come into, because that would be a predeterminer. Okay, and at that time too, then, while we're at the end of finishing stuffing the envelopes, then we'll talk about how we wanna break down the town. And that would also include the dining establishment visit, which is the next on the agenda. So we'll be able to get those all done at the same time. We've already talked about the Facebook review. And Amber was going to talk about what she found out for vacant real estate and also property for sale. Amber's not online, is she? Okay, so we'll roll that over to the next agenda as well then.
And I'll just add on, when we stuff these, I'm gonna put them in road orders. We'll have College Highway by by street address and road. So we will have those all
Oh,
grouped together,
awesome.
kind of the listing that I have now. So what we can do while we're stuffing them is if people say, I'll deliver this one,
Right,
take it right there
take it right then.
and deliver it within the next few days.
Perfect.
So we'll plan on that.
Right, and for the restaurants, I've got Southwoods Printing, which we all discussed at one of the previous meetings. The signs in the same decor as the shop local signs that say, thank you for dining.
Mhm.
Or, dining local. So we'll be able to not only give them the survey and by the way, the EDC is doing this for you during the 338 season this year for no cost. And here's also a sign to put up in your window saying, thank you for dining local. So it'll be a nice presentation that's never been executed before. So that's the old business. Any comments from either the public or the team here about anything we just discussed? Okay, so, restaurant, reach out for this week. Since we're not ready with the QR code yet, and with since we're gonna piggyback this with also the mailing list, that takes care of that agenda item, so not gonna worry about that. Master plan adoption, I don't know if you all saw the meeting minutes from the planning department. Did you go to the meeting, Jean?
Very
Um,
last thing on the agenda.
yeah, very last thing. And the drum roll is, it's been passed.
Yeah, I saw it in the paper.
Yeah. So, do you want to give us a recap on the planning board meeting, Jean?
Basically, there were three just little items in that they had looked over. It's just wording, it says instead of this, change that, so three. nothing of any significance, quite frankly. Just that last few bugs that they wanted to get out. And then it was a simple pass on it. I would encourage everybody to go on board and read it, you know, but it's out there.
Right,
And I guess the next step now is to go before the select board. They'll have to, you know, also adopt it, but it's my understanding, there'll be select board, planning board, and three citizens, okay, that are gonna be on the implementation team, master plan implementation. Okay, so that's where it's at, but I would encourage everybody to read it. Okay?
so what I'm going to do is I've already reached out to one of the members. And Julie brought these to the meeting as well, so you can.
Yeah, that's on, it's on the website.
Yep, it's on the website
It's on the
too.
website.
But I will, within the next week, email to everyone on our commission, the master plan. There's gonna be also a list of action items. Responsibility per commission, committee, and board. And on our next agenda, see, we're already creating, so we can get this done early. Will be a discussion about the role that we, the EDC, are going to play in this master plan. We are one of the top 3 boards and commissions that are going to have a tremendous involvement with the implementation of this master plan. So this is where it's gonna get fun for you, Mark, to be able to start utilizing your expertise. I know it's been a little bit of a haul, but in essence, it's only been 7 months with taking these little baby steps. But I will get that to you, and then we will discuss the action items at our next meeting, which in my opinion should be 4 weeks from now. So let's set that date right now. I don't see a need for us to have a meeting within the next 2 weeks. So that would be May 15th. If I'm looking at that correctly.
Yes.
So May 15th. And I just realized, Mark, you've not met Gene.
Yes, we met, the night that he came to express
I remember.
interest, yeah.
Oh, to express interest. Okay,
As an
okay.
alternate to
Oh,
the planet.
Right, so, yeah, Gene's been appointed by the select board.
Great.
And with Gene's involvement with the planning boards in his previous world, Gene is gonna be attending most of the planning board meetings. I'll be with Gene next Wednesday night or Tuesday night, the 20th.
Select board?
No, the next planning board
board,
meeting
yeah,
on the
yeah.
23rd. And being able to start building that bridge
Mhm.
between the Economic Development Commission and the planning board, because we're going to want to be in tandem, as one of the comments that you made in regards to what about businesses that are soliciting into town? How do we know about it? So we're going to really start developing more of that proactive outreach. And continuing down our agenda, we're going to, Greg wasn't able to go to to view the Western Mass EDC Council meeting. And
April 11th.
that, yes, that would have been
The April one, yeah, is that the, why did you?
I was on that.
Oh, you
Okay,
were on
And
it.
I,
What was top?
I'm sorry.
Great, we'll let you,
We'll let you,
Yeah, I have this, if you want,
Excellent.
I have it electronically too.
excellent,
Sure. There's a really interesting presentation by, Peter Miller from City of Westfield. And he talked about, that was the sort of the core of the agenda. He talked about, the various developments, new developments, kind of gave an overview. So you've got James Hardy Corporation with 60 jobs. They made a $50 million investment in town. And they used a TIF similar to what we used in town here.
right,
One
with
of the
Mr.
businesses.
Wally's.
Yeah, which, is a good tool.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar
Tax
with it.
incentive.
Okay,
Yeah, in how
Tax
much,
increment
how
financing,
much was,
does
that amount to? Do you have
I
an
don't, he
idea?
didn't disclose what
Okay.
the TIF amount was. He categorized it as small, a small TIF.
Because
So
I'm-
it was it's what it is, tax increment financing is a way that if a business, in this case, they invested 50 million into their building, the town will relieve them of some of the tax burden.
tax burden until such time.
Right, and they have to, typically they put certain milestones or benchmarks in that have to be
Right.
met. So if you don't hire, like they said they were gonna hire 60 people, that's probably, a benchmark, or at least some portion of that, over time. And as long as they satisfy, they stay in town, it's not front loaded, so
Right.
if they decide to sell and take off, well, then, so goes their TIF, so,
Right.
it's a pretty good tool.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it happen many times, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's used really for infrastructure, improvements, take that burden off of, somebody who's developing. And then the town obviously has, an interest in that, because then it's kind of assuring good tie-ins with your utilities and things. They did the same, with ERD metals, and apparently ERD metals also got some tax credits from the state. They're working on something, a little bit bigger investment, 54 million. But the jobs are almost double, or more than double, 130 jobs.
Wow,
that they're
okay.
bringing into town. They talked about Falcon Landing, which, Win Stanley Corporation is developing as the former Target warehouse.
Mhm.
And they're developing that on spec, so, Win Stanley's taking a little bit of a risk. There's a piece of property they have, on, Turnpike Industrial Road. The town had planned, a landfill there, and then they decided, to forego that. They got some, site readiness grants through the state. And so that's a good tool. It's another tool that if we ever have an opportunity to work with a developer, we can apply for something like that as well as a town.
What does that do?
It apparently, and I don't know the details of it, but apparently it helps with some of the site work that needs to be done, some of the planning that needs to be done. So again, you take that burden off of anybody that might be buying the property down the road or leasing some of the land.
Environmental impact statements.
Yeah,
Things of that nature that, say here locally, Dollar General has no expertise in, but still town may require, environmental impact statements.
And that would be prior to them breaking ground?
Yeah, now this one, they want to break this into, this is a parcel that the town owns. And they want to break it into smaller parcels with individual buildings. So, interesting approach. Then the other things that they talked about, the new hangars at Barnes and the new military jets that are coming online in the next few years. And then they talked about, Westfield Gas and Electric and Whip City Fiber. Westfield will be fully wired by 2025. I don't know how Southwick compares, but apparently they manage the fiber for Southwick. Whip
Yes, they
City-
do. Yes,
Whip
they
City
do.
Fiber manages them. So it's an interesting, enterprise that the town has a stake in or owns, with the fiber company. So,
Right, which we voted for here as well.
Good.
Last meeting.
yeah, there's, 14 other municipalities that are also, utilizing them for their fiber. So good business model for the town. And then 3 new restaurants, in the downtown area. 2 are open, 1 will be coming online soon, right downtown there. And they talked about the new park area they're gonna use for their summer concerts, that new area,
Right.
so.
Good.
So a lot going on in Westfield,
Oh,
good
yeah.
neighbor and,
I think they're a good example of doing a lot of things right.
Yeah.
In the last few years.
absolutely, yep, forward thinking. good decisions. You know, really seeing revitalization, downtown, which I think really helps us. It's interesting when I bring people there from out of town, they say, oh, this feels like, you know, Old Town Main Street. So it'd be good to see that, and that just helps Southwick too, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, you know, some thoughts about, you know, just hearing them talk about how they have, you know, rather aggressively pursued, businesses. They're in a very different situation. They have some, you know, big industrial parcels and things. But, you know, a good approach. I think we could learn a lot, excuse me, from them. And as we look down the road to entertain, you know, businesses that want to come into town, I think we can tap into them as a good resource and use, you know, Peter as a guide, because he knows how to work these things, and I'm sure
Right.
as long as we're not competing for the same business.
Exactly.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Unlikely, yeah.
But that's where our meeting that Greg and I had last month, we really have some great resources right here in our neighborhood. In our neighborhood, from Springfield, Westfield, our communities here at large. And as you all see, when I send you the master plan action items, part of one of our responsibilities is to look at how we're going to solicit business. So, and it has to be as like our mission statement says, we're focusing on, I'm just gonna say the last portion here, the town's long-term economic health in keeping with the town's rural character and goals. So that's where these types of outreach meetings, you get the connections.
Yep, definitely.
So that we can tap into them. And I've wanted to talk to you, Mark, about that piece, and I'm thrilled that you spearheaded watching that, the video, or that being part of that webinar. Would that be an area that you would like to focus on, being part of the commission, is coming up with, and I actually had it as a little side note here for Pam and Mark, to look at how we could create on our EDC website a solicitation page for here's who Southwick is. And that's where we're gonna tie in with Amber's information. Here are the properties that we have vacant. Here is what we have that we would like to see space being utilized with maybe a small little manufacturing company down on our industrial park on Wally Way. So, would that be
Yep.
something you would be interested in
Absolutely.
doing?
Sure.
Because I feel with your, with the background and just listening to you get excited talking about what Peter was talking about, that's what we're gonna really need to really just spark this little community with some other ideas of how we can fill some of our voids.
In terms of the website, when I originally discussed it with Pam, we talked about 3 audiences. There's local residents in neighboring communities, that's Shop Southwick. There is our businesses, our local businesses. That will be, I don't even know if we've come up with the URL for that. But that would be, you know, let's say it's southwickedc.com. But then the third one is potential new businesses coming in, and that's what this would be. We would have a site for a tab
Sure.
in our site
No, makes sense.
that
Right.
helps,
Yeah.
you know, sell our community
Sure.
to the right,
Mhm.
you know, potential audience.
And have in our toolbox too, information about the tip. Have information about the site
Right.
readiness grants.
Well, those
And there's
things
so
can
many
all be
tools.
linked to the state, site, the
Right.
EDC site.
Right, as
Right.
much as we
Yeah.
can, we wanna, the one meeting that I went to before this was about their site, which has multiple state grant information on one site. It's called One Stop.
Right, yeah, that's
Right,
exactly
the
what
one
it is, yeah.
stop. Mhm.
Which is the idea for us too, is to try to channel it, make it easy for businesses. And within the town, you know, at some point, if we could, you know, work also with, you know, the groups responsible for permitting and things like that. when we have a new business that wants to come in. Those things, anything that can help fast track.
Right,
Time is money for business, so anything that can help fast
Mhm.
track the process for them will be very well received.
right. And I've been getting now for close to 3 months, any new business certificates that are
Oh,
coming
great.
into town.
Excellent.
And they're primarily small little businesses.
Mhm.
But that conduit's already started. And that's something where I can very easily put you in on that loop too, Mark.
Perfect.
So
So is this,
gotta be in the know.
this was a Western Mass EDC, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, they have a program they call Partners, the Western Mass, they call it EDP.
EDP.
Economic Development Partners, and that's a group of people from all the different
Yeah.
towns around, and, you know, some are planning, some are economic development, some in other parts, but there are people with a mutual interest in, you know, business cultivation.
I'm just trying to understand, what's the geographical presence of this that's represented? I mean, is it Adams, Savoy and all this? But yet it's
I
all
don't know, there
folks in
was, there
Westfield
was,
or?
it's Western Mass, there was somebody from Greenfield, Northampton.
Pittsfield's part of it.
Yeah, Pioneer Valley heavily, but some from the Berkshire corridor. Probably not a lot from the tiny towns.
Right. No, I don't recall anybody from a real small town.
Yeah.
But,
You
I mean, how about Pittsfield? I mean, it seemed like the focus was primarily Westfield, that's why I asked about this.
Oh, the
yeah,
speaker, they had,
have
this was a
speak-
featured speaker.
Right,
And they told us we
Profiling.
could be a
Yeah.
featured speaker and
Right.
present
Right.
our
Yeah.
Southwick.
Right.
information.
this,
Oh, okay, all right, I understand now.
yeah, this
But is
is,
it only in Westfield or?
No,
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 no.
it's actually a virtual, it's like a Zoom.
Oh, that's it,
They've been
okay.
doing
Oh,
it
And,
soon.
but I think they hold it in Springfield.
you have to do it right in
At the-
Springfield, right, we're at
at
the
the
place that,
EDs.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
they
Rick
have
Sullivan
the
is?
main
Yeah, where Rick
office.
Sullivan
Yeah,
is.
it's an
TD
impressive
Bank building,
place.
it
Yep.
used to
Bank
be,
building right up.
cause we remember.
So, you know, not to rain on any parade, but I think we have to be careful because we've, you know, this TIF issue, I think is, for me, it's a little bit controversial because there's part of me that doesn't want anything to do with the government in my life, my business or anything. So by virtue of the fact that it enters into a competitor's business and enables them, like we've seen in this town already, problems with that. So I think we have to be somewhat careful on how we treat those.
I totally agree, especially if it's a competitive business coming, you don't wanna give them a better deal than the
But-
same kind of business. The idea of it is to bring in a new dimension and something with new benefits.
I just think we have to be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Well, but it's not, I mean, it's not in our purview to grant these or
No.
entertain them. I mean, that's a
Right.
bigger decision that's made by the town and made by, I guess the select board has.
Although we
I would
can-
imagine they would have to approve. it.
We
Yes.
Yeah,
can make a
yes,
recommendation.
yes.
We can do an economic analysis and we can give cautions. We can speak
Yeah.
for the local business community and say, you know, I would hesitate to give too much away for that kind of business.
Sure. Well, again, I think that's a bigger question.
I think the
for-
analysis should be, okay, what is the town gonna gain, especially in tax revenue
Sure. Oh, you do
compared to what
cost
we give
benefit.
away?
Absolutely.
Right.
Are we
That's
gonna
pretty standard.
Jobs,
incrementally
things.
come out
Yeah,
better?
that's pretty standard.
Cause
Right.
I've seen situations where they gave away tax benefits and probably didn't gain anything from it.
But if you had the right, either to retain a business, like in the case of Wally, you know, it's a good company, clean industry, good corporate citizen. To retain them and to help them, you know, good faith gesture, you know, some TIF financing. You know, I don't see any issue with that, in even attracting, and it can get competitive, and Connecticut does this very aggressively.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So right across the border,
Doesn't
if there was a company that we wanted to have locate here in Southwick, it can be a good tool, coupled with the incentives that the state would have, which are much greater than
Yeah, more
than what
robust.
the, yeah,
Yeah.
than what the local government would do or could do
Yeah.
with these. They're usually fairly nominal, in terms of the abatements, and again, over the course of several years, so that you kind of earn it in. But the state has some very, attractive incentives for
I
the
agree.
right businesses to come in. So,
Yeah, I'm just speaking out of, it's anecdotal. I mean, we had an issue, years ago where, a tool company, moved in near another one and, got their tax-free incentive for about 10 years and then all of a sudden went belly up. So, I mean, I think we have to be careful and it has to be
Sure.
well analyzed and
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're not that governing authority to say yay or nay. But for us to be able to be part of where we're going now with the master plan, looking at soliciting to businesses, we can use our website as a tool to direct them to other programs that are available. Now, here within our town hall, yes, you've got to have other commissions and boards agreeing to give this incentive. We will not have that power to do that, but it's good to know what is out there to attract. But going back to something that Greg said earlier, which is part of our fifth agenda item on tonight, is looking at what we want to start looking at going forward in the summer for some of our goals and initiatives. I think to come up with a business analysis that we can present to the assessors, the planning board, the select board, the finance committee. This is a questionnaire that we would like to be part of when we're looking at new businesses where we can offer value then. So the whole thing is to look at how we can contribute to the overall growth within the community. And doing that analysis is something that a lot of other EDCs do as part of their value within the communities.
And it isn't even necessarily an opinion. It's not a recommendation but it's an analysis.
Just an
that
analysis, data
here is
points.
What we might gain financially, and here's what we might give away. Here's some long-term maintenance costs might be incurred. We should develop some of that. And I know, Gene, you said you had some knowledge of that kind of analysis. I'd love to do
Just have a think tank
tax
night.
revenue analysis, a property tax revenue analysis. I'd like to understand how businesses are assessed. I would
Right.
maybe meet with the assessing board and say, what's your process? How do you do this?
Right, help us
And-
understand.
and Because we need to know it if we're gonna do that kind of analysis. If a new business comes in, it was an issue on Carvana. They were all over the board saying, wow, we're gonna get this much. I don't know that anybody did a real
Deep dive into
revenue
it.
analysis.
Yeah.
And then you compare it to what infrastructure costs will the town incur, and do we gain or lose? And some things you gain early on, and then you lose it when the heavier maintenance comes due later on. So it's tricky.
Yeah, but that's something that we can look at forward thinking as part of what we want to contribute to the community. I want to go back to something that you said earlier, Craig. The excuse me, the Western Mass Economic Development Council is based out of Springfield. And this is a resource for us. It's a free membership. And Greg and I met with them last month. We met with Rick Sullivan, who's the president and the CEO, and also the vice president, Zamara. So it's a tool for us to be able to understand what's happening in the community. I want to say 2 meetings ago, I had asked if anybody else wanted to be part of that email stream to let you know, okay, and get the reoccurrence of their webinars. So once again, anyone that wants to be part of that, just let me know. I'll reach out to Karen and share with her your email addresses. And then you're going to get a Zoom invite for it's the second Thursday of the month.
I think you said 8 to 10 or something like that.
It's 9,
Um,
no, it started at. I think it was 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30.
8:30 in the morning. So it starts at 8:30. It's an hour long. They have guest speakers. So where Peter was the guest speaker for this month. And he's talking about what he's doing in his community. Rick said if we wanna be the guest speaker, we could as well. We're not there yet, but it's something that, they're always looking for people that wanna talk about things that they're doing in their communities. So, but what it does for us is it gives us points of contact. So like now for Mark, he can reach out to Peter and say, hey, let's talk about what you've done. I want to understand how you've done solicitation. So they can actually now start having those conversations. So any questions about that?
What is that? Just a second. What would make this?
It's
Second Thursday.
8:30.
Do we have to ask you to, if we want to
just,
do it?
just let me, just tell me if you
Okay.
want me to
I'll do
reach
it.
out
I'll
to,
do it.
okay,
Yeah, I think I had mentioned, I don't know that I saw it come through last time, so.
okay. So,
So they'll send us a Zoom link?
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
so,
That's what you
Put
did?
in your account, yeah.
and the email address that I have
the
for you,
Serena K3, yeah.
Serena, the Serena
Yeah,
K3,
AOL,
okay?
yeah.
And Craig at Shepherd Corp, okay,
Yeah, it's a good session. The last one that I participated in, which I think was last month's, they had some folks from the state, and they were talking about the one-stop
Okay.
in program to make it easy to access.
okay. Jean, are you interested?
Yes.
Okay. And Jean N, instead of me putting through Jean M the other day. Okay. Excellent.
So, well, we haven't attended very much yet, but I mean, I just wonder if there is a lot of input from any of these northwestern towns at all. Does it sound like it, or, I mean, because it
I don't
seems,
know. Rick had told me that they have sometimes from Pittsfield, sometimes from some of those, but being that they're further away, they don't have as heavy of involvement in those.
I was just thinking Zoom, it's, I assume why there wouldn't be more involved in it unless they're all set up there, I don't know. Just trying to understand that dynamic, but.
Because it kind of is, it's Western Mass, but.
Yeah, it was heavy polio.
It's just very heavy
Field.
Connecticut Valley, Pioneer Valley.
Mhm.
Area.
But it's a resource and we need them. As we're starting to get our feet a little bit deeper into the sand here. So, okay, and Jean, you already gave us a recap of the planning board meeting. And for summer accomplishments, item number 5 under new business. Start thinking about what we want to accomplish, because now that we're getting the website rolling, our website's gonna be our new tool. So once we start getting the businesses on board, we're gonna want to think about other tabs that we might want to add into it. The first one that I would think about would be events and also employment opportunities that we can help support our local businesses with. But, so think about thoughts that you have going forward that we would want to start implementing going into the summer. Yes, Craig.
I do have a question about our relationship with the agricultural bunch. I mean, can you speak to that right now? Where we left off with them? I mean, we had talked about a few things.
Well, right now, where we are with our relationship with AgCom, and the relationship with AgCom is, me. Because I'm an honorary member of the Agricultural Commission. Bert and I are the ones who put together the Open Farm Day last year. The first one that we had, and it was a phenomenal success here in town. And we're going to be doing Open Farm Day in August. I will confirm that date. Sage, are you still on with us? Sage?
He's,
Hello.
Hey Sage, what's the confirmed date for Open Farm Day this year?
We actually didn't make it totally official yet. We did write it down, but it's still not plan like officially with everybody. We still have to confirm it, but I think it was the last weekend, or second to last weekend of August.
Right,
Right.
so the 24th or the 25th, correct?
Yeah, it was something about there, but let me get back to you on that. I'll send you a message to
Okay.
later. 'Cause I just want to confirm with Bert really quick.
Right, right. So what the involvement will be with the Economic Development Commission, with the AgCom, as long as you all are on board with it, and we're gonna obviously have to vote on it, is I want to be able to put our QR codes at all the farms for the dining, for the restaurants, to be able to promote the restaurants. And that's pretty much gonna be it for Open Farm Day. Because this is all about sharing with other communities in our geographical area, what Southwick does for farming, and that farming is a business and it's vital here in our community, and you can get good employment with these farms and you can learn a lot at these farms. So it's more of an educational and informative day. But for the EDC involvement, I'm looking at just those signs at the
Okay, so I
farms.
guess I'm just thinking in terms of this website and the three, category, 3 buckets you talked about and so forth, and how the farms fit into this. Because it seems like we need to develop that.
That would be definitely a tab for us to focus on.
They are on the business list.
They are on the business listings, so they are there. But what I would think that we could potentially do, and this is just brainstorming, is when we could have like a farm tab saying, okay, pansies are out. And then, oh, tomatoes are starting to come out, or first strawberries are out. So it could be promoting the produce of the month as well. And maybe tying in, this is a grander scheme, the locals, couple of dining establishments, focusing on a farm to table. But that is more of a broader reach. Right now, we're just
Mhm.
doing little baby steps just to get the website up and going, but that would be a great tool to
But we have
focus
the
on.
Shop Southwick, right, and then we have the businesses, right?
Well, Shop Southwick
Southwick is the
business
businesses.
listing.
Well, what is the other bucket? There's one more you mentioned.
The other audience is going to the businesses to tell them about events and grants and
What do you think, the
Benefits.
Dine Southwick, is that what you're thinking?
What was the other bucket? There was one more. What is it?
the other one is prospective businesses we want to bring into town.
Okay, I thought there
Those
was
are
one
the three
more.
audiences. And we talked about a potential for people, employment, solicitation. People looking for,
Yeah, I just don't know if the ag is gonna get lost in the business aspect. I think it's,
the biggest question on any website is it's not worth doing the website unless you can promote it and get it sufficient traffic. So you have to have a strategy for how to promote it, and if you do the farm, what reason do they have to go and look at what's in season? What reason do they have to go to that tab? What are you gonna promote? We're getting people to shop Southwick because we're gonna put signs in all the businesses, go to this website to find any business in town. But how do you get them to the tab about the farms? It's not good enough to just build it and they come, you have to promote it
Promote
in
it.
some way.
Right,
what I was saying
So
is.
if you're going to Shop Southwick, okay. Yeah, don't you have categorical things?
Yes.
Automotive.
all
restaurant, all that.
categorized.
Right.
Yep,
So,
And
in
one
one
of them-
case, nursery,
Well, it's under food and dining is where that comes in. The farms come in under food and dining, and then you have subcategories of farm stands and markets, supermarkets, restaurants. It's one of those categories, but it's under food and dining.
Because, I mean, when you're promoting it to the public, it's about going to buy produce or food or the products they produce.
Well, okay.
At this point, with the WordPress that we've purchased with Southwoods, we can build on it. The most important thing for us to do initially is to get this business directory so that we have direct contact information from all the businesses. Greg's done a really diligent job in regards to breaking it down in categories. The benefit that we have is we can always go in and redefine. We just need to get it open, running, and knowing that it's been tested, and then we can build from there.
The food, the categories start with 10 or 12 general categories.
Right.
You can't have too many to start with.
Right.
You got a list that's too long.
Right.
And then they click on that and you get a list of subcategories. So we
That would
want
be
to
the
come up
idea.
with,
Mhm.
you know, so they can go through and say, well, I want automotive, I want industrial, I want whatever.
You could, even under dining, you could break it down from Italian, you know, Chinese,
Well,
Mexican, you know. if-
We don't have so many that you
True,
can't just
true.
show all of them.
Pizza.
The way
Big
the way that we divided up the restaurant is based on geographic. We've got the lakes. We've got the west side, the east side, the downtown area. So it's broken down geography wise, which seemed to go pretty smoothly because a lot of our restaurants are very similar in state.
Right.
So, but once again, it's just the start.
Yeah.
Once we see it in
It'll
action,
work, yeah.
then
it'll
we
work.
can
We-
play with it. But that's where even thinking about it out loud, our Facebook page might be another good way for us to promote our ag business as well.
I know it's not an immediate thing and I'm not being critical. I'm just saying, as we think about our relationship with ag, it seems like when we talk about rural community and our roots and all of that, that's much more important than, you know, a muffler shop or something like that, as far as the town's identity, you know, because it is, I mean, when Meadowbrook was open, it was a destination. People would come from
Right.
It was.
states away to come here. So I'm saying they're not gonna come from 3 states away to come to get their muffler fixed on a car. So I think we have, however we can capitalize on that, I think it's important to us because it is part of us.
Well, I know with the Shop Southwick or excuse me, not the Shop Southwick, the Dining
Southwick.
Southwick promotion I did the past couple of years. The amount of people that came out of state deliberately just to buy their Christmas tree at Coward's Farm was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's a destination that they do every Thanksgiving. Because they've been doing it for years and years and years. So definitely hear what you're saying, Craig, and our character of our community is true and dear to a lot of us. But with us being part of the EDC, we also have to look at how we can promote our local businesses, whether they are a muffler shop or they're a Coward's Farm or an Italian bakery.
Absolutely.
And that's our focus, is to get the awareness out there, because here in town, there's a lot of houses being built still. I see more and more pieces of property coming in, and these are people that need to have access and are probably in that demographic where they're going to be like, wow, we got a place now that we can go and get all this information and build on that.
So Sage just sent a date, the hard date for farm open date, say 18.
Okay, August 18th is our open farm day, second annual. So, so think about what we want to start looking at going into the summer. Because next month it's gonna be tying up our website, tying up the promotion that we're doing at 338, and then looking forward. And what we want to actually accomplish. I just realized when I had said earlier about the Southwick Art Show, the evening of the 26th, which is a Friday, is an open house. And this is something that all of us are invited to attend. It is um, many of the items will be available to purchase, but it is a meet and greet here at the town hall from 5:30 to 7:30. Is that something that you have in email form?
Yes, I emailed to a lot of people. to-
Okay, could you email
Oh,
the
yeah.
team here this tonight?
Yeah.
Or within the next
Yeah.
couple of
And
days?
just to, kind of give a heads up, they have from 10 AM to 4 PM. So if we would meet at 9, we'd have to probably be a different room or something.
Yeah, we'll probably be down here.
Oh, for that day, we're stuff in the.
Yes,
Because that's the
the art-
day, that's the day
The
of the
art
art
show
show.
will be here, so. You know, how it work.
Mhm.
It starts from 10 AM.
Right, but we'll, if we're down here, we shouldn't be having a conflict with the art show.
Oh, okay, I don't know what they are, so just.
That's from the,
Auditorium.
the main lobby into the auditorium.
Okay, good.
So,
You pass down?
there you go.
So that's nice.
You'll get an email of that from Julie within the next
Right.
24 hours as well.
Did you want this posted then, or what? Were we to post this? Is this what this is for, to post at the station or no?
Well, it
This is
says
for you.
invitation only, so
Okay.
it's not for the general public.
Hmm.
All
Right.
So I thought do we need, are we going to have something that we want to post for the general public on the other days or no?
This is the only invitation I have for the whole church.
Is it RSVP? Just RSVP,
Yes.
okay.
For the 26th,
For the evening of the 26th.
right, but the others are general public, 27th.
Yes, on the weekend, correct.
So I guess I hadn't seen that before, so I thought this was something you wanted to post at the stations, you know, the
Promote
market,
it,
the
yeah.
art show, that's what I thought it was, so.
But they do have a sign up there, but I think it's talking about the weekend, not the Friday. And here you have the Friday as well.
I just noticed that, so, okay.
So are you looking for a sign
They
for the
have
art show?
they have another sign that I mailed to the list. This is the public.
I was just
That-
going to put something up down there, but I obviously don't wanna do it.
They say the show is
Right.
open.
Oh.
to invited
They
guests.
would really love that. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, start having
That doesn't
100
mean-
people show up from the notch.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
my
whole
first time with the
exhibition.
art show, so I don't
Okay.
know how it
So
works.
there's.
So normally,
I'm
do they
confused
bring you
about
a poster,
difference
Craig, to
between
put in your
the-
window?
We have in the past, we put
Are
something
they-
up. so
Okay.
I
They
mean, I'm
both
willing to
open
do
to
that.
invited
If someone wants
guests
to drop it
only.
off down there, I'll make sure
I
it gets
have,
up.
I
but-
Okay.
emailed today, I mailed out today.
Yeah.
No,
special
so we'll have
occasion.
Julie jump on that.
Thursdays.
I was gonna put these up. on
Everything
Friday.
was.
Yeah.
Big guys.
So, okay,
But
So-
all the boards
Good.
were invited,
Okay, so
Any-
This is also by invitation
I
only.
think so.
Okay.
any other comments? Discussion points?
And, because you're going to the WIC and you're specifically said at 9. And I don't know, we don't have any nice motorcycle shops in town per se.
We do.
We have
Oh, we do.
green crafts, right?
Okay, wasn't aware. All right, so if somebody's needing parts and whatnot, that'd be the point to go. Then again, probably those guys know who's what, where anyway. I don't know. Just thinking of another avenue to get, you know, more local business tied directly into the WIC. So.
Funny that you mentioned that. I have put a call out to, Rick. And I am following up with him this week, letting him know that we're ready to put the QR code on the signs. I asked him if, that I want to talk to about something else. And what that something else is, there is a bulletin board by the shop at the WIC. And there's also the building where the individuals sit when they do the counting of the racers, and they're the ones that are controlling on an administrative point when things are happening at the race. One of those administrators asked me if we would be able to create a 11 by 17, only one is necessary, laminated, that they could put on the bulletin board that would say, here are where the ATMs are. And here are where there are Napa, Riley's, Tractor Supply, IBS, Green's, Motorcycle Shop, so that if they need a part or they need oil, whatever they might need, the folks in the shop can say, go right to the bulletin board, you're gonna see an 11 by 17. There's gonna be a QR code there that's gonna direct you to where those places are. So, great way, I like your thought process there, Jean, and that's something that I am gonna talk to Rick about this week to see if he would have a problem with me creating that and getting his approval to put up. So that it's other businesses here in town that can be promoted, because the big thing that they're told is that people don't realize they gotta pay cash for things. And if they run out of money, because they do have an ATM on site, but if they run out of money, then they know, okay, where Westfield Bank is and where Berkshire Bank is. And if they need, like I said before, parts or something, this is where you can go.
Or up their insurance,
Pardon?
or up their insurance.
For up their insurance, yeah. So that's where
You're
the
right.
meeting can be open on the weekends.
Everybody said it.
I don't want to give you that, Mark. That's the sign that we ended up all agreeing on. And it's gonna be 4 feet wide by 8 feet long. Double-sided, heavy corrugated. The colors there that printed out on my computer are not the colors, they're red, white, and blue colors.
Nice.
I thought they're pink.
So, okay, well, if we're all set, then I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I was second.
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank